Hi, this is Margaret Gill of Abundant Private Practices. We're here today to have a look at why eProducts could help your business. And there's many different ways that eProducts could help your business, and I'm going to deal with the 4 that I believe are most powerful for your business. The 4 P's of eProduct, let's call it. So the first thing that I think that most people are looking for when they get into eProducts is more profit. And yep, there is a lot to be said for making money while you sleep. And eProducts allow that. I remember when I first started in coaching, getting very excited about the concept of passive revenue, which is, of course, the whole thing of making money while you sleep. And it's passive because you don't have to do anything to make that revenue generate. It's a little harder than I first thought, I'll admit. I will admit to that there's a fair bit of work goes into getting those eProducts set up and working and promoted and all of that sort of thing. But yes, there comes a point where you can actually make money while you sleep. And it's fabulous, particularly when you have been working beside the table and been on the tools. In my case, the tools are a desk and a headset, and all of a sudden you start to be released a little bit from that. There's not the same pressure to get the clients in the door because some of your money is coming in via product or e-product specifically. I don't deal a lot with hard product. My speciality is making e-products, and I just love them. I absolutely just love e-products because they help you get your message out, they help people, and they help you make more money. That's a good combination of things. One of the other P's that e-products will do for you is they'll help you raise your profile. Automatically, as you begin to create e-products, you start to become on a little bit of a podium because even now, not that many people create e-products. And having e-products raises your profile because, again, it's another way of you being able to express your expertise. And just as speaking raises profile, it's another of my favorite tools, speaking. It raises your profile because the second you step on stage, you are seen as an expert. Well, e-products have a similar effect on people. By creating a little e-book, people see you as a bit of an expert because you've taken the time to sit down and write that. So therefore, you must have some knowledge in your head. And they're absolutely correct. You can't write an e-book if you don't know something. And this is where the magic is you automatically are raised up in people's eyes without you having to do too much more than just sit down and write a product or create a product or interview somebody or do a teleclass. It's not very hard and it's actually quite enjoyable. I've loved doing all of that stuff and learning all about it. And you can raise your profile quite quickly just by creating products that people will buy. And they become a little bit interactive over time, and the more products you have, of course, the more your profile gets raised because it's the more ways that people can interact with you. So they become quite magical. E-products are also a fabulous way to promote your business. They get a little bit viral, particularly those free e-products, which people might sign up for your e-product and go, oh, this is great. What a great piece of information. I'm going to send this to my 5 colleagues. And they do. And their 5 colleagues go, wow, who is this person? And they come and visit your website and they sign up for the product. And this is what we want. We want these products out there doing things while you can't be there. So not only do you make profit while you sleep, e-products create your profile while you sleep and they promote you while you sleep. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So while I'm asleep, there can be all sorts of things going on up in the Northern Hemisphere simply because people are sharing my products or talking about them. And that's pretty easy for me when I'm having a bit of a snooze down in Hepburn Springs in the middle of country Victoria, Australia. So you can see how e-products help you promote your business without you having to be there. And over time, and when you get the formula right, which I'm going to share the formula with you tonight because I'm that kind of gal. I'm just, tell you up front what you need, tell you up front what you're getting into because nobody did that with me and I was a little sad initially at my first attempts at doing eProducts because I didn't understand the full picture. And I'm going to today just give you the full picture because I think it's important. You need the map before you go into the forest. You need a map before you go on a road trip. And you also need the map to decide if you really want to do this, because there's no point wasting time creating something that isn't going to sell. And I'm very much about respecting your time and your energy in terms of this sort of thing. And at the end of this video, you will have gotten a really good idea of whether you want to start the process or not. Let's hope it's going to be positive, because I've gotten so much from this. And I would have to say I was exactly the same as you when I started out. I had no idea why people would want to listen to me. I had this thing going on in my head, well, why would they want to listen to me anyway? And then the other thing going on in my head was, well, what have I got to say to them? I've got no idea what I'm going to tell them. Well, once you get down the burrow on this stuff and you understand that there's a lot of things people want to know, and there's a lot of things you already know, and when those two things collide, magic can happen with eProducts. But the biggest magic, I think, is this concept that promotion is occurring without you having to be there. And that means that over time, please don't hear me that this is going to happen overnight, but over time, you don't have to go to so many networking events, you don't have to do so many talks, you don't have to be out there so much, because your work is getting viral. And that is the next P. The next P starts with E actually, but we're getting away with it, is the ePower of eProduct. Once things get a little bit E and they start doing the rounds, that is when things become powerful. So ePower is the power of the network that you can create from anywhere in the world, going out to anywhere that has Wi-Fi or has some connection with a mobile device or some ability to get the internet. And there are millions of people out there right now who have that. And that's the e-power of eProduct, is that it can go to a lot of people that you just can't get to on your own. And this is the magic. It does the work for you. At the end of the day, eProducts create momentum. And that's what we're trying to get in our business. The momentum to get your business happening and out there and doing all of the things that you want it to do. And eProducts will help you with that. And let's take a look now at how that could work for you. Currently, there's just you in the mix. Currently, there's little old you, and you are all on your little lonesome in the big wide patch of white. And what you're responsible for is getting the profit in for the business, getting the promotion done, getting your profile built, and creating the power and oomph for you and your business. That can get exhausting just doing that yourself. So the magic of eProducts are that you can take you out of the mix. And by creating an eProduct, what happens is these four circles start to join together. So as you start to create your eProducts, magic starts to happen in that these things no longer exist with just you doing them. The eProduct starts to do them, and it draws in all of the 4 Ps and creates this magic little piece of sacred geometry where everything starts to overlap. And the joyous thing about this is the circle in the middle is the customer. And they're getting the benefit of all of the things that you are creating with your eProducts. They're in the middle of all of this. But the joyous thing for you is that you're creating a structure that's very difficult to break down. In the diagram we had before, where the 4 circles were on their own, it's very easy to flip one of those circles out when they're like that. It's very easy to come in and knock a circle out because they're standing on their own, they've got no support. But eProducts create this little bit of sacred geometry that's very difficult to pull apart. So everything starts to form together, and it gives your business that solid structure to build on. And one eProduct will do this for you. But the magic starts to happen when you have one e-product that's bringing all of these four things together. So it's out there creating more profit for you, it's creating more promotional opportunities, it's creating more profile for you, and it's creating more power out in the community. That's what one product does. Imagine what happens when you start to add another product. It pretty much overnight doubles the effect. So the 4 Ps get doubled. But also what it does is, because it starts to create these solid structures within each one, what happens is it merges them together and it creates another piece of sacred geometry where the thing is now 2 products working as one, and it's just quadrupled the amount of power and promotion and profile that you have out in the world. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking at making this easy for you. And bear in mind, once you get this set up, and there's the rider, once you get this set up, it does not happen overnight, I will not lie to you. But once you get this set up, the e-products do this for you. They start creating different ways that people can work with you and come into your funnel. This starts to build and grow the more products you put in there. So you end up with this amazing flower of life type of thing starting to happen the more products you put into the mix. The more products you put into the mix, the more your flower of life will grow, and the more your business will grow, and the more your profits will grow, and the more promotional opportunities there are. And so it just starts to grow, and it starts to become something that you can't stop. And we like that. That's really good, because there are things that happen in life like sickness. And if you have a little profit machine that's whirring away on its own and you get sick and can't see clients, I think you would be pleased to see some cash coming through the door if you, for whatever reason, weren't able to see clients for a little while. It would help greatly if you had this structure set up underneath your business. Let's take a look at what you're probably going to need to build. So here we are. Here's little old you. Again, little old you in the middle of it. You never get away from this in your business. Little old you is always going to be in the middle of things. But over time, little old you gets to spend a lot less time working hard in the business and a lot more time working on the business. And eProducts is one of the ways that you can work on your business. So if you can give eProducts a bit of time in the early days, all good. You will need to start building yourself a little structure. So to get eProducts started, you need to have some followers, because you need somebody to sell to. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah. So you'll need to start building up some newsletters, and I can help you with that. Clinics Without Limits is one of my products, and it's one of the things that we start getting you working on is your newsletters. We will need to build in some social media for you, some networking opportunities, some talks. We need to start getting you out, building some strategic alliances, and we need to start you doing things like blogging. So in this instance, there's a lot of energy going outwards. And yes, that's the hard part. When you start setting up the things that you need to be able to generate your following so that you have people in your database who can buy or consume the products that you're going to make. Makes sense, huh? So you need that. So in the early days, all of the energy is going outward. But if you start to build these things, and the way to start is to start. Bless me, I started doing a newsletter years and years and years ago. And that little newsletter has served me so well. I am so glad I did that. I started a blog, and bless me, I kept writing in that blog. Maybe not as regularly as I could, but I kept writing in it. And that little blog now has quite a lot of information in it. And when you do that, when you start to put stuff out there and you take a regular amount of time to do your blog posts and your newsletters, and you regularly do it and you send things out and you're seen as consistent by your people, what starts to happen is the tables start turning and you start building a circle that joins all of these things together. So for instance, what you post in your newsletter perhaps could be given out at a talk. You could do a really great article for your newsletter and print some of those off and take them along to a talk and give them to the audience. Nice. There's a whole new lot of people that haven't seen that newsletter. They haven't signed up yet. And you could write on the bottom, this is from my newsletter. If this has been helpful, sign up for my newsletter and you can get it delivered to you every month. A certain amount of people will come on and do that. You might be at a networking event and you meet somebody and they say, oh, how can I find out more about you? You might say, well, do you know what? I have got a social media site. Why don't you come and be one of my friends? I would love to be friends with you. You might be out somewhere and you meet somebody and that person says, oh, I've got this problem and it's just driving me nuts. And you could say to them, do you know what? I've done a blog post on that and I reckon it would be really helpful for you. Why don't you go and have a read of that, because there's several products and links in there that I believe are going to help you. Start to see how this starts to join together and that starts to create a circle around all of this effort that you've been putting in. Well, there's rewards for people that stay in the business and there's rewards for people that stick at the things they are meant to do in the early days. And look, I've only put a few of the things on that you could be doing. Despite what a lot of people will tell you, you don't need to have to do everything. So don't freak out and go, oh, suddenly I've got all of this work to do. You can choose one, start working on that, start building it up, and then start on the next one. So you don't have to do it all at once. But you do need to have many of these things in place for your business to be successful. And the reason it needs to be is so that people can find you. This is how people find you, via these types of things. And if you're not doing that, that's why your business will be quiet. Whenever my business goes quiet, I would look at this list and go, well, Margaret, I think you better go and do some talks because you've not been seen enough. It's important that you start understanding that you've got to put some action into these sorts of things, and if you do, they will reward you further down the track. When we start creating free product, something magical happens. What we can do is we can reverse the arrows and we can take things that perhaps have been written in your newsletter 12 months ago, pick them up and put them in a free product that we give away to the new people signing up on your database. So anybody new coming into your database won't have seen the newsletters you've created for the past 12 months. Maybe we could just make them a little free e-product out of that. Well, that'd be pretty easy, wouldn't it? We can do the same with some of the things you put on social media. Maybe some of the photos or some of those crazy little photos with messages that are going around could be put together into a little slideshow that people might want to collect for free and have on their computer as inspiration for every day. Networking, you might have created some handouts that you give out at networking events for people. They can be collected together to make a free ebook. Okay, starting to get the picture here? Talks, you've probably done handouts at talks. Well, why don't we collect some of those together? Make some free product out of those. If you're a little bit techie or got somebody techie around you, maybe somebody filmed you at those talks. Maybe somebody recorded you. Maybe that could become your first free product. Maybe you have strategic alliances who already have some product that you could reconstitute. I'm not saying you're going to steal their information and put it out as yours, but if you have some good strategic alliances, say for instance you have a connection with a yoga studio, maybe you could have a free product about stretching and yoga poses that will help your people if you deal with bad backs. There's an idea. You might not even have to do anything to create the free product. And lastly, your blog. If you have been blogging regularly, which can be 2 to 3 times a week, it can be once a week, it can be once a month. If you blog once a month, you get 12 a year. If you blog once a week, you get 52. I prefer the latter, of course, because with 52 blog posts, we'll probably find there's some stuff in there that you can use. Once we get all this happening, so we get our blogs and newsletters, and we get them all lined up, we start adding some technology like teleclasses, and we start recording some of our calls, we start doing some interviews with people, and we start firing these through to an e-product. Maybe it's free, maybe it's charged, it really doesn't matter. What I ask you to do in the early days is create a free product simply because it takes the heat off you. If you want to create a paid one, I say knock yourself out. But I start people off with free because it takes that thing away of, no, but who would want to listen anyway? If it's free, well, so what if nobody listens? Let's create it anyway and let's see what happens. So it removes that barrier. If you were to put together something from one of the activities that you've been doing in your marketing and created a little free e-product, guess what might happen when a total stranger picks that up, likes what you have given them, comes onto your website, signs up and becomes part of your database, although I would hope that you would have collected their email address through these activities of alliances, blogs, newsletters. You will have had their email address by them. You send them a little free product and they go, wow, I like that. And then a month later you send them a little note and you say, here's a workshop I'm doing. Would you like to come along? Here's a retreat I'm doing. It's a high-end retreat. And I can tell you, one of my clients shared with me, and I just about cried with joy for her. She said to me, oh, somebody signed up for my newsletter for my retreat. And they've been on my newsletter list for years, actually. I've got no idea who they are, but they've signed up for my retreat. Thank you, Margaret, for making me do that. And thank you for kicking my butt and making sure that I kept that newsletter rolling, because someone has come and is doing my retreat. And it's a very high-end retreat. And that action that she has taken sold somebody onto their retreat. And oh my word, how happy was she? And all she had to do was keep writing that newsletter. That's all it took to bring that person over, to go from somebody that was just hoovering up the free products to somebody who was prepared to come on a 7-day retreat with her. So the trust was built without ever meeting the person. That's powerful. And we want that. So a free e-product can lead to other paid events and workshops and retreats and many of the different things you do. Paid teleclasses. So a free teleclass generally leads to some sort of free e-product that leads to a paid class. And then what happens is often those experiences with you lead people to the high-end one-on-one consult. What we want is you leading people through a process that gets you to the point where they're wanting to take your high-end consulting, because they've experienced all this other stuff with you and they've gone, whoa, if she's good at this, well, what must her high-end stuff do for me? And that's what we really want. Now, yes, this isn't going to work for somebody who's a massage therapist. You need to create a message and you need to have a very strong who and what to be able to make this system work for you. Just massaging people is not enough. And there will come a time when you can't just massage people anymore and you need to move somewhere else. Your body will give up eventually. I had some very sad news this week. A friend that was a machine. I've never met anybody that can do as many massages as this guy could in a day. You will have heard me speak about him. And something I heard recently is he's gotten very sick, very sick, and has had to give up massage. And it's just because he's been such a machine. He's just worn his body out on some level, and his body's gone, nah, no more. We'll make you really sick, so you have to give up. And this is what happens with being on the tools and being on the table all the time. Eventually your body will give up. And until you move to a point where you have something else that people want to consume from you, and you can start to create something in a free e-product, and you're going to go, yeah, but what would it be? Well, I don't know at this time. You have to come and work with me, and you have to come and put some effort in before we know what your free e-product could be. But you will have something in your head that you can turn to e-product, even if it's how to light your candles at the beginning of the day. And people go, who would want to know that? Somebody that doesn't know how to do ritual, that has never been taught ritual, would want to know that. And you go, oh, I didn't think anybody would want to know that. You would be surprised. You would be surprised what you do in your everyday life that people would want to know. And bear in mind, the first thing you're going to create is a free product. And in creating that, you will start to open up and go, oh my word, I don't believe what else there is to write about ritual. So that simple little ritual you do every morning as you walk around your practice and light the candles could end up being something completely new that you had never thought of. I'm not promising that will be your topic, but it's generally those funny little things that you do and you do well that other people will want to learn how to do. And if you move them through your funnel, you will end up teaching them at high-end consulting fees, and that's what we want to get you to. If you don't have the product in place, this is what this looks like. There's a massive wall that you have to get over. So even if you've got all of these things in place, what you're doing is you're pushing these things at people, and there's nothing to get them to the other side. So there's a big wall or big hump you've got to get people over to get them to do the paid product retreats and workshops. eProducts do a nice job, a free eProduct does a nice job of people being moved easily and effortlessly into your other paid programs. If you don't have the free eProduct there, these other things that you are doing, so your networking, your social media, all of that, you have to hard sell to get them over the big block that you've got in place by not having an eProduct there. And we don't want that, because we know that paid eProduct retreats, workshops lead to high-end consulting. But it's very difficult to get people to a high-end consult off a newsletter alone. A standalone newsletter, it's quite difficult, or it takes a lot of time to get people to the high-end consult. So the lady that signed up for the retreat, she'd been on that newsletter list for 2 years before she did anything. There's no doubt that she will do other things with my client now that she's actually met her and interacted with her. There is no doubt. But it takes a lot of energy and effort to get people over the wall if you don't have something to give them, like a free ebook, to get them into the next paid process of your system. And you will always struggle with this brick wall if you don't create some product to put in the middle there that takes people easily and effortlessly through your message and tells them why they need to work with you and why they need to come on. And not everybody is going to come on. Please don't think that 100% of the effort that you put in on the left-hand side of the screen are going to come over to the right-hand side. It's a percentage of the people that you have on your list will come over to the right-hand side of the screen and pay for products with you. That's why list building is so important, simply because it's a numbers game. If you've got 10 people on your list, 1 of them might come over. If you've got 100 people, 10 of them might come over. If you've got 1,000 people, 100 might come over. And that's the magic. That's why the list is so important, and why I bang on about it in the very first eProduct I give you. And that's why it's so important, is because the list leads to this stuff. So you're starting to see a little bit of the jigsaw puzzle coming together now with this little video that I'm doing, and some method in my madness. You and clients, you want them to come together, right? If you don't have anything in your little funnel, if you don't do a newsletter, if you don't do a blog, if you don't go out and do talks, if you don't do teleclasses, if you don't do interviews with people, if you don't do social media, it's you, the brick wall, trying to get over that brick wall and trying to get the clients to come back over the brick wall to you. Nasty, eh? Nasty. Why would you want to do that? I don't understand why people do this and follow this model. This is the model you are taught in school. You go out and you try and drag clients over that brick wall to you on your own. Why would you do it? It's so hard. Whereas you pop a little free eProduct where that wall is, and everything starts to become easier. Because people will accept things for free and try it first, build up the trust in that moment, give them extreme value, build up the trust, and those people are going to come to you instead of you trying to go over the wall and try to drag them back to you. So it's really important that you get the power of this stuff. So an eProduct and a free eProduct will establish you with your clients. So they will create an establishment phase where it establishes you as the expert they need to work with. It evolves you in their mind, and it allows them to go, oh, this person's way better than I thought they were going to be. This is a comment that I get. A lot of people say to me, I signed up for your eProduct and it was amazing. It gave me so much information. I thought it was just going to be all pushy and selly. So I've evolved them past thinking that my products are all just push and sell. They're not. I take great pride in my products giving you a lot of information. Yeah, look, there's the odd page that'll tell you how to work with me, but in general, those things are pretty darn meaty. And it's important that you understand that, because I'm about evolving you as well as I'm about evolving me. And this is what's really important, is the evolve phase that free products do on my behalf. They evolve people up the ladder in that it gives them information that they can use. It evolves me because I've now got more people on my database, but also it's an evolution in itself, because the clients are getting results that they wouldn't have got without this free ebook, and it evolves the client because that person wouldn't have worked with me. They wouldn't have had access to that information had I not created the free product and given it to them. They wouldn't have come over so fast. And for me, it evolves because eventually a percentage of those people will come over and be my clients, or they will come and buy something from me. And in some instances, they'll feel so bad because they've hoovered up so much free stuff, they'll just come to a workshop or something like that. And bless those people that do that, because I love you for it. I love you, love you, love you. Because it's not only me that wins there, it's you that wins as well. So please, the free e-products are there for you to use, and they're there for you to get value from. Many of them I create simply because I don't want to teach those topics anymore. So they're full on high value. Sign up for them and do them. And also the little cheap products, the little cheapies, they're cheap because I know what it's like to get information in the early days, not because they're cheap and cheerful. They create huge amounts of value for you. And in some of them, they actually give you the answer to the earth, the world, and everything. So don't be shy. Go and sign up for anything that I put out, because I put a lot of energy and effort into them. E-products expand both you and your client. A good e-product will do that. It will expand your business and it will expand you, because, of course, you have to do a little bit of research to create these products. So you get expanded, and when your clients read them, it expands their knowledge and their ability to help themselves as well. That's got to be a good thing. They educate. Wouldn't you have liked to have had the answer to the earth, the world, and everything when you started out in your business? Well, that's what I do for people. I educate them through those early stages. Do you think your clients wouldn't like to have some of the things that you don't even think you need to tell them anymore, or you haven't given credit to, what's in your head? Don't you think some of your clients would like to be educated in some of the things you know and don't want to talk about anymore because you've talked about them so often? I think you'll find they would. And I think you'll find they would get value, and they would also be able to refer people off your free e-products, that you are educating others as well. And apart from anything else, what happens here is you grow mass. You grow energetic mass as you start to spread the information to people you could never have got to via third parties. Never shy away from educating people and raising them up to another level, because it's the key to everything. And when you raise someone to a higher level, they will pass your information on. It's natural human instinct to want to help others. Not everybody carries that instinct, but most people do. E-products help you build your enterprise and make you more enterprising as well. So get out there, create your own e-product, and build your enterprise to something that's going to be way more than you thought possible when you started. And be enterprising. Show your expertise to people through free e-product. And enjoy. It's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the process of creating your products. They will give you great joy over time, and you'll look back on them and go, I'm really proud of that. Learn to enjoy what you do. Don't run away from things just because you think they're going to be a lot of hard work or too much or nobody'd listen to you. Because at the end of the day, these little products are going to bring you great joy. And that's what we want. We want you to enjoy your practice more and your business more. So what do you need to build an e-product? What are the basic things you have to have in place? And some of you may be able to go out from this little video now and create this yourself. And I say knock yourself out. If you can, go right on ahead. What you need is a message. You must have a very clear message, and you cannot put out a generic e-product and expect it to sell. That's why I can't help people that are just doing generic massage, because there's not much in that. There's no meat we can get. But if you have a clear who and what, so if you've set up and know very clearly and can articulate very clearly who you work with and what problem you solve for them, and wrap that into a strong message, your e-products are going to be successful. And that's where a free e-product will shine, is when you have a clear message, a clear who and what, and people come in and go, I need what's in this lady's message. I need to hear what she's got to say about this. Or this guy, man, is he making sense to me? I'm going to get this free product because I believe there's something in this for me. And that's where the relationship starts, in that moment. To do this, you can't have an e-product, E standing for electronic, if you don't have a website. You're going to really struggle. In saying that, we could do some workaround where you could perhaps email the product to somebody. So we could do a workaround in the early days if you don't have a website. I do just happen to have finished creating a little product called Website in a Weekend, which will give you a website really fast that you can put your e-product on in the early days. So don't get stressed about not having a website, but you will need one for an e-product. It's how it works. Websites are all about the E, and without something electronic to be able to generate your product out to the world, you're really going to struggle. You could do it through social media and things like that, but at the end of the day, you've got to have control. I was just reading a blog article by somebody today who was saying that Facebook is busily slamming people's Facebook sites. They're just taking them down because they're breaking the rules. And some of the rules they're breaking are pretty pathetic. But Facebook's just taken down somebody's Facebook page that had 1,000 fans on there. And that was their only way of getting their message out. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that's a pretty sad person right now, because if they haven't created anything else but a Facebook presence to get their message out, they're going to be in trouble. So a website at the end of the day gives you control, as does a database. You've always got control when you've got a website and a database, and that's really important. The other thing you need to build an e-product is support in the early days, and that's where I come in. That's what I do for you, is I help you with creating that very first ebook or e-product. I'm not being specific about what you might create, because everybody's different. Some people use words through the written word, and some people use words through the audio world. Some people are really good at talking, and those people, they should talk. Just talk down a microphone and create your e-products like that. The product that I have, which helps people build e-products, is called Clinics Without Limits. You can find more information about that program at www.clinicswithoutlimits.com. And the program has been designed to help you get started developing what you need to start developing to allow you more time for you and your practice in the long run. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is golden. You need to start developing, and you need to know where to start developing, so that in the long run you can be that lady sitting at the lake with her laptop and just cruising out doing work from the office at the lake. I've done that. I can say, ladies and gentlemen, I have sat and looked at some pretty nice views with my laptop and being at work. And that's nice. That was something that drew me into the industry. It doesn't happen as much as it could at this time, but over time I know that's where I'm building to, a point where I don't have to have any walls at all, and there's no limits on my practice whatsoever. So lovelies, go visit clinicswithoutlimits.com. The program at this time is cut into two modules. The first module, we set up the platform to build your product and to promote your product. The second part of the program, actually you start writing it. So Clinics Without Limits is one of my Leave With It Done products. So at the end of the program, you will have left, if you do the work, you've got to do the work, you will have left with an e-product complete, a website to put it on, a database to collect the people's names and email addresses, and you will be good to go. So jump over, ladies and gentlemen, www.clinicswithoutlimits.com, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next Clinics program. Looking forward to it. Bye.